What's up, guys? It is Chaz and Charlie, and today I want to discuss smoking weed at work. And I will say, if you have an issue where you're smoking weed at work, you probably have a weed addiction. Okay, like myself, I'm not passing any judgment. I'm just kind of want to freely discuss the topic today. So I've had a long journey with, of course, with weed, but also with smoking weed at work. Throughout my history of smoking weed, me smoking weed at work quickly became a thing. I quite enjoyed smoking weed at work. It made work more enjoyable. It made the day go by faster. It made me find more enjoyable things to think about or ponder about at work or deal with crazy customers. So, yeah, I smoke weed at work probably throughout my whole time where I was smoking. I remember when I first started smoking weed at work, my first job, Snooks, I used to go in a parking lot, smoke about a blunt and a half sometimes. And I was so careless in the beginning. I was probably like 16, no, probably like 17. I'll say between that job between the ages of 17 and 20, I'll say. And I was pretty careless because I would pretty much smoke weed on my break. And for some strange reason, I would Febreze sometimes, cologne sometimes, but not do it the other. I guess I did a couple times where I smoked and then spray, and then I didn't get caught, so I kind of got comfortable, lax with Febrezing myself. For some reason, I thought I could smoke all this weed and smoke my car out because I didn't actually smoke my windows down to let the smoke out. I would smoke my car out and go back into work. Remember one time my manager came by, which actually, thinking back on it, he was pretty nice. He walked past me and then came back, and then he did this long sniff, and I'm like, did he just sniff me? And then a day later, one of my coworkers said, she said, Chaz, Gary knows. Quit smoking the weed at work. So I decided then, I actually didn't stop. I just, well, maybe I should Febreze and keep my cologne handy. That's just a side story that's stuck in my memory from my past. But even through my adult years, I would say throughout every job, I've went through phases of smoking weed at work. I remember when I worked at a mattress firm. Yes, I used to sell mattresses. And I could go and mattress firm. If you guys haven't ever been to a mattress firm, it's a quite boring place to work at. Because, who's just buying beds all day, every day? But anyway, if you're not accustomed, you had to work there for 8 hours, I think it was 10 hours. I worked there from 8 to 8 or 8 to 7. And in most cases, you would work there alone. So imagine working somewhere alone for 10 hours, 10, 11 hours, and you see 2 customers a day. So, of course, I would go in the back, smoke a blunt. And I would actually, and that's not good when you work in a store that has beds. So occasionally I would watch a movie on the bed and fall asleep. I actually been caught a couple times by customers where I was asleep. One time a customer came back and he was like, I came here like an hour ago and you were asleep. I tried to wake you up. But I'll just come back. And I'm like, what the fuck? That was some embarrassing stuff. And I was kind of glad when I quit Mattress Firm. because I was all my fear was one of the area managers was going to come by and catch me sleep on a Tempur-Pedic. Was it the weed fault? Was it my fault? I don't know, but I probably was a bit zooted. Now, into my adult years, when I started to wing myself off at my current job I have now, I would try to smoke less during the week, whether I smoked every other day or smoked a half a blunt in a day's time or smoked 1 week and stayed off a week. I would still continue to smoke weed at work. I almost made it like it was a luxury going to work because I could smoke weed at work. Because even now, at the time, I would partially work from home and partially work in the office. So I would enjoy to go to work because that was my day where I could smoke a blunt behind the building. And although it seems harmless, you say it's not a big deal. I mean, I prized myself with being able to pretty much do my job and smoke and not get caught or not be a bad worker. But at the same time, do you want to need weed to be at work? And you might say, hell yeah, to deal with crazy customers, or, why not? But I think the issue is when you think of the idea of weed being absent from work. I always say it's not a big deal, but if I, let's say, didn't smoke weed here at work, would that be a problem? There was shell shock also when I first just quit weed cold turkey. I won't say shell shock, but I had to actually get over not smoking weed at work, being at work for a full day, for a full 8 hours, and not smoking. That was actually, I would say, in the category of me having to get used to me having an appetite without depending on weed. I had to get used to being in the office without being high. Now, towards the end of me smoking, I used to get a bit of paranoia. I will say, the less you smoke, okay, when you wean yourself off, you smoke less. A big danger in that is you start to feel the effects of weed better. You can, if you don't smoke for 2-3 weeks and start back where it used to take me, 2-3 blunts to get high, I can smoke a half a blunt and be high as hell. So I actually started getting more paranoid smoking than what I was, let's say, in my 20s. So even at my latest job, not similar to the Snook story, but I felt like it was similar because I would smoke in the car and come back in. And at that time, there were people in the office, and one of my coworkers said, "Do you smell that?" And the other one said, "Yeah." I had no clue what they were talking about. I thought they were talking about me. Till this day, I don't know. To this day, I don't know whether they were talking about me or not. It also was a burning smell in the building. So I'm like, are they talking about the burning smell? Are they talking about me? My heart was pounding so fast. And I'm like, at this point, like 33. Been smoking for, damn near 20 years. And I'm so paranoid. I'm like, this is probably an issue. If I'm feeling this nervous about smoking at work, I probably shouldn't smoke at work. But looking at the bigger picture, like I've said on this channel, I did have an addiction problem with weed. And I started to use work as an excuse to continue to smoke weed. Just like I used food as an excuse to continue to smoke. I would say, I don't eat until I smoke. So I can't really quit weed because it's going to affect my appetite. I'm going to lose weight because I'm not going to be hungry. Or I never really needed weed to sleep per se, because I work, and I feel like if you work in daytime, you have children and a family, I can fall asleep without weed. But I found it hard eating without weed, and I also found it hard going to work without smoking weed. So I use something as common as work to rationalize in my mind, maybe I need to continue to smoke, or use work as an excuse to smoke and say, well, this is my luxury of going to work and making work more tolerable. I can smoke weed. That's not good. I don't need weed to work. I don't need weed to eat. I don't need weed to live life. And we have to stop justifying our want to smoke weed and use things as common as work and food and sleep and, I'm going to say, depression and anxiety as a reason to smoke. These are things that you commonly have in life. I always say, anxiety is normal. You don't say, well, I have high anxiety, I need to smoke. No, you have anxiety because you're a human, and humans have anxiety for various reasons, not because they need weed. You can cure anxiety by curing the thing that you have anxiety about, not by smoking a joint. So I quit letting work be an excuse for me to get high. And now I can go to work and not smoke and be okay, be just fine. I can deal with customers, and I don't want to kill. I mean, I still may want to kill some, but I can get through it. It's not really a big deal. But I realize I don't need weed at work, and also I use weed as an excuse when I made a mistake at work. I'll say, maybe I messed up on that procedure because I was just high. I blamed it on the weed. And in a certain point, I guess I enjoyed doing it, because if it was a mistake, it wasn't me, it was the weed. But if you repeat that to yourself, that's not a good thing. And why would you not want to be your best self? I find out that actually we're human, and I still may make a mistake. I feel like I don't make as many mistakes, but I may make a mistake at work, and I know it's me. It's not, was it the weed? Was it me? I know it's me. Let me find out how to not do that thing again and be better at my job. Also, about a year ago, I took on a second job, and starting that job, I'm working two jobs. I'm working loud car. I'm working 60 plus hours a week. Now is not a time to quit weed. I need weed more than ever because I'm tired to get through my day. And I made a decision, where I could have went back in the other direction and started smoking more weed because I needed to get through a work week. I said, no, I'm not going to let that be my excuse. I'm not going to say because I'm working 20 extra hours, I deserve to smoke weed. No, I'm not going to let that be me. So I still decided to quit right when I accepted my second job. And I still, to this day, work two jobs. I don't smoke weed. I'm pretty proud of myself. I can deal with customers and then go do a physically demanding job and be okay and not have to depend on weed to get through my day. So, guys, what is your journey with weed and work? Do you need weed to stay at work? Have you found it hard quitting weed because of work? Do you like, Chaz, you're crazy. I don't have to smoke weed at work. It's just you. What do you guys feel? Until next time, guys, like, subscribe, share. Most importantly, comment below. I would like to know what you guys feel. Until next time, We're all in this together. Bye.
Do you think it's time for you to quit cannabis? Well, I encourage you to make that transition to a new life, free from the chains of weed addiction. It's up to you to make that change, but sometimes we may need a little guided help. So I created a 30-day guided journal to quit cannabis. This journal helps you go through a 30-day process to create a new life. I am a strong believer of people helping themselves, but without being told what to do like a child. But we do need to be steered in the right direction sometimes. Each day focuses on a thought or idea for that day and prompts you to write down your own thoughts and your own reasons. This will help you understand yourself and your addiction. By the end of the 30 days, you will see a clear path on how to create a new life of marijuana sobriety. If you need the motivation to take control like I did, please visit Amazon to purchase the 30-day guided journal to quit cannabis. Your future self will thank you.